Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Pixel Gadget. I've been a game designer for 10 years and I love FPS games. And today we are going to be continuing our Game Designer Plays Dusk with episode 2. However, instead of continuing to play the game and just talk about the way the game is and all that, we're going to review the footage from yesterday in slow motion and kind of go piece by piece into what we were seeing because I felt like there was so much to cover just in the beginning with the initial combat, all the interactions, all the feedback, and we're not going to be able to hear the audio, so that's a part of the design that I guess we're not talking about today, but I did want to mention it that there was actually some intro music, but it was so subtle, I didn't even notice it or think to mention it. It was just kind of this eerie, ominous, droning tone, and it was perfect for the game. So basically, we're gonna go through the footage here. So the first thing I want to talk about is like when I slice an enemy with the sickle. So what seems to happen is I think there was a sound effect and this like little very simple blood effect. The blood effect is very simple and it seems to not leave any splatters on the ground. I think some splatters are getting on the walls here. Okay. So, right. Okay. So basically the blood splatters, that's very nice. I want to also see what happens when I pick up this purple thing here. And another thing I forgot to mention is it actually did say press F for flashlight, but it shows this at a very inopportune time because it's like I was just fighting for my life against like, 3v1 and it just flashes this red like text on the screen, which red is probably the best color for this if you're going to just flash something, but it was only on the screen for like literally a second. Wow, that was brief. So no wonder I missed it. I want to see. Oh, okay, right there. So I picked up a health thing, a magic potion for health. And I just want you to see that. It flashes green on the screen for a second there. All right, here we go. So pay attention to this. I'm going to slow it down even more just so we can see it really good. Okay, boom. So notice how the center of the screen was like mostly it's getting some interference there, but basically, yeah, it highlights the edges a lot and it's green and it's like, so what's interesting is the UI elements are not color coded, which I think is actually a good choice. This kind of silver with a black outline and stylized like kind of gothic text, that's really good. However, it is coded that health is green in the sense that when you pick things up, the edge flashes. And this is, of course, classic Quake style. Boom. Okay, a magic potion, health bonus. Beautiful. And when you hover over, it says lift gas can. So it doesn't say press E to lift gas can, which I think was the number. It just says lift gas can. And then I tried F, which was the flashlight. And I didn't read that text, so I didn't know. And then I picked it up. Oh, okay. The weapon disappears when you pick things up. I was trying to remember. I was like, does the weapon go away? Because I'm thinking about implementing this kind of picking up objects in my game. And basically, I was wondering, I was like, should the weapon disappear when he picks it up? Yeah, it looks like it completely disappears when he picks it up. Oh, and then when he throws it, the weapons reappear immediately. You'll also notice it's not the re-equip animation. And that's when I found that that blade. And did you notice that little, very simple yellow particle effect when the blade hit the ground? There it is again. Lift saw blade. Okay, so that seems to be the. And then I threw it at these guys, and let's just see how the gibbing goes slow mo. Okay, yeah, little spark. like blood mist. This reminds me of Brutal Doom, actually. Just huge particle of blood mist. And the gibs seem to spawn kind of up here, which is interesting. So the body was down there, but the gibs just spawned right there. I didn't notice when I was playing. And then the gibs had some particles, and then they stopped. Sorry, they seem to. Oh, okay. So the gibs have like a similar blood trail particle to when we were slicing them. Very cool. And it looks like it's lingering, and now it's gone. Okay, so now the gibs are just sitting there. Yeah, sorry, there's some artifacting or whatever going on with the footage, but seems to be coming through pretty clear, so I just want to see this again. Boom. Okay. The blade hits the ground, so it spawns like a spark particle effect. The gibs spawn at like chest height, which is interesting. I guess that means that the spawner is tied to the game object like itself and not the guy's body, like if it was spawning at his chest. And 4 gibs spawn, a big one, a medium one, and 2 small ones. Very interesting. And like I said before, there's no blood particles like sticking to the ground. I wasn't sure about that, but it looks like the blood is just there. And yeah, then I do it again. Boom. Same thing. The gib spawning high up. Big red mist. That seems to be a good thing. But notice how the red mist goes away pretty quick. Yeah, about 2 seconds. Maybe a second, since this is slowed down. Boom. Okay, yeah. Gib spawn up there. Oh, this one spawned 3 big gibs. Okay, there seems to be some randomness between the sizes of gibs that spawn for this specific enemy. So that's very interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, gibbing is something I'm getting into in my game. I've never done gibbing before, but there seems to be a science to it, and it's really important for just satisfying. Like, I cannot tell you how satisfying it was to throw that saw blade at those bodies, and it's all because of that interactability. And that's like a total Half-Life thing. Okay, so for the barrel, lift barrel, and this was when I decided to put the barrel back and like continue talking about what just happened, because it was like so much to cover. At some point I'm going to break these little grasses, and I want to see that. I want to see how that goes. There's that kind of boop boop that the center reticle does. I really like that. Look at that. Boom. Boom. I like it. Very good feedback. Just makes the controller feel alive. And I think that's like my thesis for this episode is like, this starting environment just feels so interactable, so alive, not static. Like, I hate to talk crap on Dread Templar, but Dread Templar's intro compared to this was like, you know, a 4 out of 10, and this is like a 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10. I don't know. I just really love the particles also in this room, the kind of dust particles that are just floating around. It adds like this aliveness to the scene. I can't even imagine how dead this scene would feel without the objects to pick up, the particles, being able to break the like little grasses. Okay, lift bucket. So it seems every game object that you can pick up has a signifier that says, hey, you can pick this up. That's important to note. So obviously the most simple signifier is just words, just saying, hey, do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, when do I break the grass? Oh, yeah. Let's analyze when I hit the wall. Okay, so there's like a gray particle effect. So it's not the same spark particle effect as the saw blade hitting the ground, but it seems to be the same pattern, just the color change. And then a little decal on the floor, like a little kind of hit. I like that. Very simple, nothing complicated. I didn't even notice how simple the particles are in this game. Like, they're literally just little squares. No texturing, no anything. It's fascinating. All right, I think I'm gonna be hitting the barrel at some point. Oh, here I go. Boulder. Okay, so literally every single game object that you can pick up, there's a signifier. I didn't even realize that when I was doing it. I just was like, oh, I'll pick it up. But yeah, there is a signifier. Very good. Oh, here I go. Am I gonna break the grass? Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Boom. Okay, nice. So 2 things are happening here when I hit the grass. I pick up a green thing, and I paused it at the perfect time to see this kind of green flash effect. And there's also a really good sound effect, but I'm like talking in this, so we probably shouldn't turn on the sound right now. We'll review the audio later. But basically, yeah, I'm picking up that object and also breaking this grass. And so when I click on the grass, the game object turns off and it spawns these kind of grass particles and also green little squares, just like the ones on the ground. And there they are. And I think they disappear after a second or two. Oh, I don't look. Oh, I go to these ones. Boom. Okay, yeah, little triangles that kind of match the outline, but I think they're a separate particle system. Yeah, and it looks like they disappear after a couple seconds. And here I'm just like playing with the physics and how when I hit an object, it adds force, just making it feel alive. Like these bones they add so much to the scene, not only thematically, because it's like, oh God, I'm not the first person these hillbillies have killed, but also like just that feeling of like agency, like I can affect the environment. I think it's almost an element of realism. I know in kind of retro boomer shooters it's not thought of as, oh, there's like realism, that's not a thing, but I'm talking about realism not as graphics but as like in my day-to-day life. I move around objects all the time. I push them with my body, I pick them up with my hands, and um this game is very interesting because obviously it's mostly a shooter, right? But it added this to the game not as a main mechanic. I think the guy really liked Half-Life 1 and 2, and of course Gary's mod, but also it just adds this level of polish that makes the game. I was testing the controller here. You can see the camera tilting. You see that? Look how that it tilts to the left when I move to the left, tilts to the right when I move to the right. Dread Templar, for some reason, when I moved to the left, it tilted to the right. And I thought that felt so wrong. It made kind of more sense, like physics-wise. Like if an object is moving away, I'm probably going to, like my head's going to take a while to catch up with the body or the legs or whatever. But from a gameplay perspective and just game feel, it feels so much better to just have it lean the corresponding way that you're going. Okay, let's start skipping because I think I pick up the pistol at some point, and I want to see. I was just like testing the reticle at this point. I want to see if there's like a flash effect for when I pick up the pistol, which is in that little. I think I'm gonna pick it up in a second here. Let's see. I'm still tossing things around. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so you found a secret in big text, picked up pistol. All right, let's see this. Slow-mo. Yep, blue outline. And then the reticle seems to have a bounce effect when we first equip it, and it says you found a secret exclamation point. And then it has some like more text here, picked up a pistol, and now we have like the number down here that says, oh, you have the number 2 weapon slot equipped because it's highlighted. That was like super clear. And then it shows like the type of ammo, like this little bullet, and then the pistol 12. Oh, look at that. Okay, the reticle like starts really wide, gets small, and then it flips out the pistol. Okay, great. I felt like the weapon bobbing in this game was pretty good. It was a little bit, it's very retro. Oh, this was when I was getting experimenting with the weapon switching. And I loved hitting this barrel, those particles. I didn't even think about the particles, but yeah, they're just simple little squares. That's pretty cool how they're just basic. For some reason, I really liked this barrel. I don't know why. I just love tossing it around. I was having way too much fun in this starting room, I gotta say. The game, it was like a playground for a game designer, an FPS game designer. Okay, so let's get to the part where I'm shooting the bad guys. Okay, that was the green flash effect, which is really great. And you'll notice it's a vignette effect, okay? So that's really important. The whole screen doesn't flash green. You'd really, as a UI designer, if you're designing UI, really be careful what you put in this center part of the screen, okay? Be very mindful. Only very important information. I designed a shooter game one time where I kept testing it, and it was like a multiplayer game or whatever. So like it was a split screen game, 4-player split screen. Okay, notice that when I equip the pistols, sorry to get distracted. When I equip the pistols for the just back and forth with the sickles, the reticle doesn't do that big like remember when we first picked it up, it started like super big and then kind of adjusted down. When I equip it, there's no effect. I feel, what was that? When I press R, which does nothing in the game, basically, the guy added spinning, and my theory on this was that he knew FPS players would be pressing R trying to reload because the Quake style, Hexen 2 style no reload like weapons, that's kind of out of date, and most games have reloading. And he probably, during playtesting, players just kept getting annoyed that R didn't do anything, or maybe it did something different. So he added like weapon flipping, which is the weirdest thing ever, but I love it. And it's interesting how pressing R and weapon flipping has a kind of effect on the reticle, but switching weapons does not. Another cool thing he did with the weapon switching was like the camera dips down and up. It kind of lerps a little. Oh, here I was experimenting with the jump. The camera does not move with the jump, as you can see, but the weapon in the hand does, which is very nice. So let's skip to when I'm fighting enemies with the pistol. I was down here for like half the episode. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Oh, I already killed the enemies. We have to go back. Yeah, this was me breaking the box. Let's see the particle effects of me breaking the box. So yes, I'd lift box. So it seems every single object that you can pick up in this game, there's a signifier. And the text is smaller than the "you found a secret" text, which is important. And it seems to be closer to the very center. Oh, it also turns off the reticle. Wait, let me check that again. Did it turn off the reticle when I was hovering over? I think it does turn off the reticle, but I'm not sure. The reticle kind of blended into that game object. Let me see about this skull. Do I hover over that? Not quite. Okay. Well, I'll look into that. It probably does turn off the reticle when I hover over a game object I can pick up. I didn't even think about that, but that's an important part of this, where it's like, it's really signifying to the player, hey, you can't shoot right now, because the reticle is associated with the shooting. I think this is the first time I shoot the gun, so let's just see how the shooting looks. I'm really curious about this particle effect. Okay. Wow, very basic. Oh, there's a little smoke effect. So the slide goes back. We get an orange puff. Boom. Oh, and a shell. A shell spawns. Very nice. So this is solid. All right. Oh, and the shell kind of, maybe that was just, okay, shell spawns at the top, shoots out, slide goes back. Obviously recoil. And yeah, the reticle is lerping. Gosh, yeah, this is such a strong shoot. The shell casing ejecting adds a lot to this. And yeah, you can see it's a very simple little square shell casing. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get closer to these guys at some point and shoot them close up. And I want to just see. I think it'll be the same blood effect. Oh, there was that blue kind of flash effect. So he shoots a fireball at me, which is very interesting. I thought this fireball was really cool because basically it's slow moving enough that it feels fair. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, I can't dodge that. Okay, there it goes. Okay, I think it's like a billboard sprite. I'm not sure. All right, I'm just watching the shooting really closely. I'm not seeing a projectile fly in this footage. Maybe I'm missing it. Oh, okay, it's very subtle, but there's a particle going out from the barrel. Nice, slice him up to finish him off. Yeah, same blood effects, very subtle. Oh, then I pick up that green thing. Very nice. I loved the pickup effects in this game of like the flashing on the screen. And then, okay, so yeah, the blood effects, were those blood effects there or did they instantiate in? It looks like they instantiated in, but I can't tell. I picked up more ammo. Oh, and then I got the dual wield. So now it says pistol X2. I didn't notice that originally. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, I loved the weapons and stuff, but I didn't. All right, here, I picked these up. Boom, blue. Okay. Wait, those are ammo. Okay, blue. So there's already a color coding going on here where green was for health, pistol bullets, seem to be, or ammo seems to be a blue highlight, and then morale, I guess, is armor. Okay, let's see when I break this grate. Ooh, okay. I break the grate and it instantiates some kind of metal particles at the bottom there, which is kind of weird. Okay, when I pick this up, I think it was a green effect. Okay, and that was morale. So it looks like health and morale are color coded as green highlights, and then the ammo is blue. So that's very good color coding, obviously very distinct. I wonder if there's any other colors I did like that come up. For some reason, when I pick up the morale booster, I expected it to be like yellow or gold. I'm not sure why. I like vaguely remember that. So let's move on. I think I break some more objects here. Yeah, I thought I could break that, but as you can see, it has the gray particle effect and leaves the decal. So that makes me think, oh, I can't interact with this, because every time I've hit a game object that can be like smashed or broken, it doesn't leave a decal. And I think the particle is different, or maybe there's no particle at all. I can't remember. I think I chopped these guys up at some point. I was looking at like the textures and the level design here. And then at some point I'm fighting like a dog creature. Let's see this. Really like these torches and the lighting. So something I'm noticing just about the visual identity of this game, oh, there's those bloods. Okay, nice. Is that it's all very consistent. Okay, he jibs, and same thing. It's the jibs spawn at like chest height, which I did not even notice while playing. Obviously, logically, you'd think that the jibs would instantiate. Oh, they instantiated pretty low, actually. Oh, no, they were up high. I don't know. The perspective was a little weird there. That's very interesting. I didn't notice that kind of blood symbol on the wall the first time playing. Kind of tells me these guys are part of a specific, like, cult. Here's where I fight the, like, dog guy. Okay, this guy was one of the coolest enemies we encountered. Let's see how shooting him looks. Oh, there was an effect. Did you see that when I shot? There was like a particle like beam, but it's not for every shot. There was like, and it's not a moving particle. It seems to be like, let's see if we can get it. Yeah, did you see that? Are the shell casings still spawning? Oh yeah, there they are. Very nice. Beautiful. Yeah, those blood effects are definitely not leaving decals on the ground. Definitely not. Okay. I thought this guy was super cool, and I think I chopped him up too. I just couldn't get enough of the gibbing in this game. I'm just so surprised at how simple the particles are. I like didn't think they were so simple. I thought they were more complicated. Okay, ammo, blue. All right, very good. Very nice. Okay, so we covered a lot of the feedback and stuff that I didn't get a chance to cover when I was actually playing, because it all happens so fast. This is at 0.3 speed. So just to be clear, all these effects are happening way, way below conscious level. Like, but subconsciously, I was like, oh, this is so satisfying. But I couldn't quite find the words to describe why, because I was still kind of figuring things out with this game. This enemy was acting so interesting. He would like run towards me and then run away. Look at that. He kind of ran away. I am like, what? I thought he was just like a basic, zombie, just mindlessly run at the player, but no. And the range on these sickles is pretty far. Like, I'm reaching quite a distance here, which makes them pretty good weapons, because obviously his attack range was pretty short. One thing we didn't look at is when I got hit. I think I got hit in the very beginning, and then I tried chopping him up. For some reason, I couldn't chop him up at that angle, which was weird. But here we go. We chopped him up. The jibs spawn up high for this character. Very interesting. Okay. I wanted to look at when I got hit. I think one time I know I got hit in the game was when the three chainsaw guys in the beginning, I think they hit me once. Let's see. Let's see here. I was chopping them up, saw blading them. Okay, here they come. Yeah, I think they hit me at some point in this little fight. Boom. Okay, red highlight. I'm noticing that the highlight, look at the empty space. It's actually bigger than when we pick up objects. I don't know if you remember when we picked up like health and ammo, the empty space was about here and the color would start like in this area. But with getting hit, it does a red flash, but it's really like there's way more open space. I think that's because when you're picking up health and stuff, you're probably in a safer environment, like more exploration. But when you're getting hit, he wanted to give the player more vision so they could see better, see more of the game world. So that's pretty cool. Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I expected, and I think there's a sound effect. I would love to get into the sound effect, but I think that would be best to do in the actual game. Next time in episode 3, we'll talk about the audio a lot, probably, because the audio design was really good too. There were sound effects for all kinds of things that you should definitely have. So this fight is like a lot more forgiving than I originally thought. Basically, their chainsaws have like a pretty short attack radius, it seems, and my sickles have a pretty high attack radius, like far. So I definitely have the advantage. As you can see, I'm just kind of training them, kiting them around like Nazi zombie style. And yeah, I think there was a puff of blood when I first killed him. Let's just watch this guy. Yeah, there is a puff of blood. Look at that. Okay, that was an effect I missed. But when they first die, there's a puff of blood. Just like when we jib them, there's a puff of blood. So it looks like it's using a similar philosophy. Okay, this is great. I'm really glad we did this and that I didn't just keep playing the game, because I wanted to review the basics of like what we just, all that feedback, all that stuff, you know, picking up the barrel. Wait, let me just see. When I go to pick up the barrel, did the reticle disappear? Just one last design question I want to answer. One last question. Let's see. I'm very curious about this. Gosh, it takes a while to load with this video. That's when I realized there was a hidden secret I was supposed to blow up with that gas can, and I couldn't. Yeah, I think I go and pick up a rock and try to break it in a second here. Yeah, here I walk over to this rock, and let's just see if the reticle disappears when I get to the rock. Okay, it definitely does. Very nice. Very nice, especially when I'm holding the rock. Yeah, the reticle's back. When I hover... Okay, yeah, the reticle disappears when I'm hovering over liftable objects. Great to know. Very good. Okay, that is everything I wanted to talk about with this kind of reviewing episode 1 and going kind of like really picking it apart for all the feedback and little UI things that are going on, because it's polished as heck. And to me, this is the boomer shooter baseline, or the level of quality that I'm aiming for, and I think other shooter devs or even game devs should aim for. It's not about fancy graphics. It's not even about fancy, you know, gameplay. This basic UI signifier feedback stuff is actually what is the most important part of your game. I'm serious. I'm amazed how many game designers think it's about fancy mechanics, or, you know, whatever, having like 50 different guns or 50 different enemy types or a million levels. Like, oh, my game has like 1,000 hours of gameplay, and yet the feedback and signifiers are not strong to begin with. That's my big message, is like, don't make a big game. Start by making a game that feels really good, like good feedback, great, like spend at least a couple weeks before even working on any levels, any enemies on your player controller. This player controller feels tight, absolutely tight. And yeah, the guy who made this game, he knew what he was freaking doing. That's my main message. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. It was definitely helpful for me to just answer some of the questions, because I played the game. The gameplay is fast. This is a fast-paced game, and things were happening so fast I didn't even like cognize what was happening with these subtle design signifiers and feedbacks. So really glad we could go through with a fine a fine tooth comb and just pick it apart piece by piece. So thank you so much for listening to me talk about game design, UX, UI design specifically today. Like game field design was today's theme. And oh man, I had so much fun picking this apart. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. All right. Bye bye.